how to talk with anyone. Anya often found herself in a quiet corner, understanding every word of English spoken around her, yet unable to utter a single coherent sentence herself. Her mind processed complex ideas in perfect English, but her tongue felt like a foreign object, heavy and unresponsive, whenever she tried to articulate them. This disconnect between comprehension and expression was a constant, frustrating barrier in her daily life. It often made her feel isolated. Despite her silent struggles, a deep yearning persisted within Anya to genuinely participate in conversations. She longed to articulate her thoughts, share her opinions, and connect with people from diverse backgrounds using the language she admired. The silent understanding was no longer enough. She yearned for the ability to truly engage, to express her unique voice in English. This desire fueled her secret ambition. Anya spent countless hours observing how people spoke English naturally. She noticed the nuances of intonation, the rhythm of everyday conversations, and the common phrases native speakers used effortlessly. It wasn't just about grammar or vocabulary. It was about the fluidity, the pauses, and the natural flow that made conversations seem so easy for others. She analyzed their interactions intently. Sometimes, discouraging thoughts crept into her mind, whispers echoing doubts about the utility of learning English, suggesting it was too hard or unnecessary. Why waste so much effort? A voice would argue, but Anya quickly pushed back against this insidious negativity. She knew the immense opportunities English unlocked, proving these doubts baseless. Her resolve remained unshaken despite these fleeting moments. One evening, while listening to an English podcast about global travel, Anya felt a sudden surge of inspiration and urgency. The speaker described incredible adventures made possible only through confident communication. She realized her dream of exploring the world and connecting with diverse cultures would remain just a dream unless she actively improved her spoken English. This realization was a profound catalyst. That night, Anya made a firm commitment to herself. No more hiding, no more silent understanding without expression. She vowed to actively pursue fluency, starting with a meticulous plan. Her first step involved confronting the fear that had held her captive for so long, recognizing it as the primary obstacle to her progress. The journey would be challenging, but necessary. Anya began her English study plan for talking by focusing intently on listening, understanding that true communication starts with effective reception. She shifted from passive listening to active immersion, choosing materials directly relevant to her interests and future goals. This made the process enjoyable and highly engaging, transforming a chore into a fascinating exploration of sound. She started listening to English news broadcasts, TED Talks, and podcasts about travel and science, topics that genuinely captivated her. Importantly, she didn't just hear the words. She focused on the speaker's intonation, their pauses, and the emotional tone behind their expressions. This deep listening practice helped her internalize natural speech patterns. Anya understood that listening wasn't merely about comprehending vocabulary, it was about absorbing the music of the language. She paid close attention to sentence stress, word linking, and the rhythm that made English sound so natural when spoken by fluent individuals. This detailed auditory analysis became a cornerstone of her daily routine. Every day, she dedicated at least an hour solely to immersive listening, ensuring she was completely present with the audio. She would often close her eyes, imagining herself participating in the conversations she heard, mimicking the speakers silently in her mind. This intense focus sharpened her auditory processing skills significantly. Next, Anya embraced the concept of shadowing, a powerful technique where you listen and then immediately try to imitate the speaker's pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. She began with short audio clips, repeating sentences aloud, attempting to match the original as closely as possible. It felt awkward at first, but she persevered. This active imitation helped bridge the gap between understanding and production. Her tongue, once so resistant, slowly began to feel more comfortable forming English sounds. Each successful replication, no matter how small, built a tiny block of confidence within her, gradually eroding the deep-seated fear of speaking. Anya also started recording herself speaking English. Initially, the sound of her own voice filled her with cringeworthy embarrassment, highlighting every perceived imperfection and awkward pause. However, she forced herself to listen back, objectively identifying areas for improvement, like pronunciation or sentence structure. This feedback loop was invaluable. These self-recorded sessions became her private practice ground. She would describe her day, summarize articles she read, or even just narrate her thoughts aloud, ensuring she used full sentences. The goal wasn't perfection, but consistent, active production, pushing her boundaries slightly with each attempt. Her self-awareness grew immensely. How to talk with anyone became her next challenge. Anya realized that practicing in isolation, while beneficial, wouldn't fully prepare her for real-time interactions. She needed to venture beyond her comfort zone and engage with actual people, facing the unpredictable nature of spontaneous conversation directly. This step felt daunting. She sought out online language exchange partners, individuals who wanted to learn her native language in exchange for English practice. These initial conversations were nerve-wracking, filled with hesitations and fumbled words, but the supportive environment helped her relax. She learned that most people were patient and encouraging. Anya discovered that simply starting a conversation, even with a simple, "Hello, how are you?" was a massive victory. She focused on active listening during these exchanges, not just formulating her reply, but truly understanding the other person's perspective. This made her responses more natural and relevant. She made a conscious effort to stop translating in her head, allowing English thoughts to form directly. This was a difficult habit to break, as years of understanding without speaking had reinforced it. However, with consistent practice, she noticed the mental lag decreasing and her responses becoming more fluid. Anya embraced mistakes as vital learning opportunities. Instead of dwelling on errors, she viewed them as signposts indicating areas needing more attention. She would often ask her conversation partners for corrections, transforming embarrassing moments into valuable feedback sessions that accelerated her progress significantly. She joined local English conversation groups, pushing herself into face-to-face interactions. Here, the challenge was even greater due to the immediate social pressure, but the diverse accents and conversation styles further broadened her listening comprehension and adaptive speaking skills. Every meeting chipped away at her shyness. Anya observed how people speak English in different contexts: formal discussions, casual chats, storytelling. She noticed variations in vocabulary, tone, and sentence complexity. This real-world exposure was crucial for understanding the practical application of the language beyond textbook examples, making her feel more prepared. She practiced asking open-ended questions to keep conversations flowing, encouraging others to share more, which in turn gave her more listening practice and time to formulate her own thoughts. This strategic approach helped alleviate the pressure of constantly having to lead or carry the conversation entirely. Anya also paid attention to common English idioms and colloquialisms, understanding that these were integral to natural conversation. She started incorporating a few simple ones into her speech, making her sound more authentic and less like someone reciting memorized phrases. It felt like unlocking a secret code. To combat the internal voice saying, "I understand English, but I can't speak well," Anya started celebrating every small victory. A successfully ordered coffee, a short chat with a stranger, a clear explanation to a friend. Each instance reinforced her growing capability and confidence in her spoken English. She created an English study plan for talking that was highly personalized and flexible. It wasn't a rigid schedule, but a set of habits: daily listening, regular self-talk, scheduled conversation practice, and continuous exposure through media. This organic approach made learning sustainable and enjoyable over time. Anya understood why you must listen. It's the bedrock of natural language acquisition. Without keenly listening, one cannot internalize pronunciation, rhythm, or the subtle social cues embedded in conversation. Listening provided the raw data her brain needed to build its own production engine. It was truly non-negotiable. She realized that people speak English differently based on their backgrounds, regions, and even moods. There wasn't one single correct way. This understanding alleviated some of her self-imposed pressure to sound like a specific ideal speaker, allowing her to embrace her own developing accent and style more confidently. Her journey also taught her why you should not learn English if your only motivation is external pressure or a vague sense of obligation. Anya's success stemmed from genuine curiosity and a heartfelt desire to connect, making the process intrinsically rewarding despite the challenges encountered. Anya learned that the greatest barrier was not grammar or vocabulary, but rather the fear of making mistakes and being judged. Once she started treating errors as stepping stones instead of stumbling blocks, her progress accelerated dramatically, freeing her from crippling self-consciousness. This mental shift was transformative. She began to see how to talk in English not as a complex algorithm, but as an evolving skill that improved with consistent application. It was less about perfect rules and more about courageous practice, about showing up, and about allowing herself the grace to learn imperfectly. Anya started initiating conversations, even brief ones, with people she encountered daily: shopkeepers, cafe baristas, or fellow commuters. These micro-interactions were low-stakes opportunities to practice common greetings and simple exchanges without the pressure of extended dialogue. Each small win built her momentum. She discovered the joy of using English, to describe her own culture and experiences to international friends. It was incredibly empowering to share her unique perspective in a language that bridged different worlds, reinforcing the practical value of her efforts and making connections. The process wasn't linear. There were days when Anya felt discouraged, when words seemed to abandon her, and progress felt painfully slow. Yet, she reminded herself of her initial commitment and the profound reasons she started this journey, pushing through moments of doubt. She understood that even fluent English speakers have moments of hesitation or search for the right word. This realization helped normalize her own struggles, making her feel less alone and less critical of her natural learning process. Imperfection became a mark of authenticity. Anya immersed herself in English language entertainment, movies without subtitles, comedy shows, and even video games with voice chat. This made her practice enjoyable and natural, seamlessly integrating language learning into her leisure activities, making it feel less like studying and more like living. She kept a small notebook for new words and phrases she heard in context, not just isolated definitions. This contextual learning greatly enhanced her active vocabulary, making it easier to recall and use these words naturally in her own conversations, expanding her expressive range. Anya also sought out opportunities to present information in English, such as joining a local Toastmasters club where she could practice public speaking in a supportive environment. These structured practice sessions honed her ability to organize thoughts and deliver them coherently. She learned to manage conversation flow, using common filler words or phrases like, you know, I mean, or let me see, to buy herself a few extra seconds to formulate her thoughts, making her sound more natural and less like she was struggling for words. Anya realized that effective communication in English wasn't just about speaking, but also about understanding nonverbal cues. She observed body language, facial expressions, and gestures, which often conveyed as much meaning as the spoken words, adding another layer to her comprehension. Her confidence grew exponentially with each successful interaction. The fear of embarrassment gradually receded, replaced by an eagerness to connect and share. She no longer felt the need to apologize for her accent or occasional grammatical slip-ups, embracing her unique voice. How to talk to anyone in English transformed from an intimidating goal into an exciting possibility. Anya found herself initiating conversations with strangers during her travels, asking for directions, recommendations, or simply engaging in friendly banter, enjoying the freedom of expression. She understood that consistent, deliberate practice was the only true path to fluency. There were no shortcuts or magic formulas, just the steady accumulation of effort, day after day, week after week. This discipline, though challenging, became incredibly rewarding. Anya often reminded herself that native speakers also make mistakes. This perspective helped her detach from the impossible pursuit of perfection and instead focus on clear, effective communication, prioritizing being understood over absolute grammatical accuracy. Authenticity trumped flawless delivery. The shift from "I understand English, but I can't speak well" was gradual but profound. It happened through countless small moments of courage, pushing through discomfort and learning to trust her evolving abilities. Her mental self-talk became increasingly positive and encouraging. She learned to ask for clarification when she didn't understand something, rather than nodding politely and guessing. This simple act prevented misunderstandings and showed genuine engagement, improving the quality of her conversations and building stronger connections with others. Anya started telling short stories in English, initially to herself, then to her language partners, focusing on narrative flow and engaging her listeners. Storytelling became a powerful tool for practicing more complex sentence structures and expressing emotions vividly. She cultivated an attitude of curiosity, always eager to learn new phrases, explore different accents, and understand cultural nuances embedded in the English language. This continuous learning mindset ensured her progress never stagnated, keeping the journey exciting and fresh. The once distant dream of conversing freely in English had become her vibrant reality. Anya no longer saw herself as someone who understood but couldn't speak, but as a confident communicator, ready to engage with the world, one meaningful conversation at a time. She realized that the initial fears, the why you should not learn English whispers, were merely self-imposed limitations. English had opened doors to new friendships, incredible travel experiences, and even potential career opportunities she never imagined possible before. Her success proved that mastering English speaking wasn't about innate talent, but about consistent effort, smart strategies, and an unyielding commitment to overcome fear. It was a journey accessible to anyone willing to put in the work and embrace imperfection. Anya's advice for others struggling was always the same. Start with listening, speak often, embrace mistakes, and be patient with yourself. The process is a marathon, not a sprint, but every step forward, no matter how small, counts towards fluency. She emphasized that how people speak English is diverse and rich, and one should never try to mimic a single ideal. Instead, develop your own authentic voice, allowing your personality to shine through, which makes conversations more genuine and engaging. Anya now felt empowered to talk to anyone, anywhere, in English. Her world had expanded exponentially, enriched by countless new perspectives and connections forged through confident communication. The language was no longer a barrier, but a beautiful bridge. This profound transformation showcased the incredible power of consistent practice and courageous self-belief. From a silent observer, Anya had evolved into an active participant, a true global citizen, sharing her stories and listening to others with newfound ease and joy. Her journey was a testament to the fact that understanding is only half the battle. True mastery lies in daring to speak. Anya's voice, once hesitant and hushed, now resonated with confidence, inspiring countless others to embark on their own English-speaking adventures.